beautiful people, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Oluchima, and if you're joining me on this channel for the first time, you're most welcome. Thank you for my OGs for always being here. I appreciate your support. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing reasons why you are having sunken cakes. Now, probably this has happened to you before, or it hasn't happened to you before. It is important that you learn, you listen and you learn and try to avoid these things. And if it has happened to you before and you were wondering what went wrong, you couldn't figure out what went wrong, I'm going to be sharing lessons or reasons why this happened. And also alongside this, I will be sharing a personal experience, personal story of what happened to me and why my cake was sunken. Not on top, at the base, like under my cake was like it went inside, it was sunken. I'm going to attach pictures and I'm going to show you and explain to you so that you can avoid this happening to your cake. It's a cake fault, so that you can avoid this happening to your cake. Now, if it's something you're interested in, we definitely want to stick around, but before that, we have a goal to take this channel back to where it was and even better. So please engage with this video. Drop me a cupcake emoji, subscribe to my channel, and hit the like button right away. Just tap on the like button and I'll see you shortly. And you're welcome back. So like I said, today we're talking about reasons why your cakes are sunken, why they get sunken. Okay, so the first thing is that your cakes are underbaked. Now, if your cakes are not properly baked and you bring them out of the oven, it would sink. Usually when you are checking your cakes for doneness or to check if they are properly baked or if they're baked through and through, if you check most times, you find out that the outer part is done, but the inside or the center, the middle is not done. How do you know? It's wobbly, like it shakes in the middle. You see it's shaking a bit. If you check inside, like the top would look like it's set, but underneath would look wobbly. It means that it is not done. Okay, so how do you test for doneness? You insert a skewer, especially if you're a beginner, you insert a skewer into your cake, and when you bring it out, it should be clean without any batter on it. Now, if you bring your cake, you're thinking it's done, probably you see that it's a little wobbly, or you don't even see that it's wobbly, but you put your skewer in and bring it out, and there's a little batter on it, and you just bring it out and leave it. As it begins to cool, it is going to fall. Okay, the center is going to fall, it's going to sink. That's why you have sunken cakes. So please make sure that your cakes are done. Bake the minimum amount stated for you to bake that cake or that particular recipe. And also when it begins to smell, when you begin to perceive the aroma, you know it is done. And the third thing you want to do is to ensure that when you put your skewer, it comes out clean and there is no batter on it still remaining. Okay, the second thing is too much leavening agent, or you're using expired leavening agent. Now, if you're using expired leavening agent, chances are that your cakes will get sunken in the middle. And if you're using too much, probably you mistook or you miscalculated your recipe and you put too much. What will happen is that the leavening agent will act faster than it is supposed to. In how do I put this now? In line with, like, so it's supposed to act on the cake as the batter is cooking or as it's cooking, but because it is much, it would act faster, releasing more gas. That way it gets to rise before the outer parts of the cake are done. So please ensure that you're paying close attention, you're putting all your attention or pay particular attention to your measurements when you're working. Avoid distractions so that you use the accurate measurement you're supposed to use, and also check the dates so that you are using something that is still okay for you to use. Normally, how you check for activeness or active to know if your baking powder is active is that, or baking soda is active, when you put vinegar for baking powder. This one I'm very sure of. When you put your vinegar into your baking powder, it should sizzle, it should make a sound. Okay, so it's to fizzle or sizzle. Okay, so if you do this and it sizzles or it fizzles, you know that your baking soda is still active. I don't know if it works for baking powder. I'll do my research and let you know, putting it on the screen, whether it works for baking powder or how you can check for the if your baking powder is still potent. So now the third reason why your cake can sink in the middle is that you opened your oven too quickly. Okay, especially if it's at the point where your cake or your batter is rising. If it's at that point and you open your door and air gets in, the middle would fall, it would sink. That's why you see your cakes, the middle would just go inside. So allow it a max of 35-40 minutes. Yeah, we're taught 30 minutes, but I would say, to be on the safe side, allow your cake stay up to at least 35-40 minutes before you check for doneness, just to be sure. If you open it and it's at that point where it is rising, it would fall. Okay, especially, like I said, especially. So don't open your oven door too quickly, okay? You would risk having a sunken cake in the middle. Now, the fourth thing is imbalanced recipe. I know I've talked about this a couple of times, and it could lead to a cake fault. Your cake could sink in the middle. Now, because you're using a leavening agent and you are not mindful, or probably right from the start that recipe is faulty, you're going to have most likely a sunken cake. You're going to have a faulty cake, which could be a dip or a hole in the middle. That's why when people ask me, I got a question not too long ago, for 250 grams for sponge cake, what quantity of baking powder am I supposed to use, or what's the ideal quantity? And I'm like, I cannot just say something. This was not the exact answer I gave, but I told the person, it's a subscriber, that I cannot just put a particular amount and say this is appropriate, because I do not have access to all the information or the quantities of all the other ingredients that make up this particular recipe. Now, recipes are different, and I would not use mine to compare another person's own and say, oh, it's a general rule of thumb, it's a one size fits all. There are other ingredients that come to play. There is egg, for instance, there is flour, there is sugar, there is milk, or there are other ingredients that come to play. So you need to weigh all those things before you know what is the appropriate amount for you to use for a particular recipe. So if your recipe is not balanced, your leavening agents alongside other ingredients are not balanced, you might likely end up with a sunken cake in the middle. And now to my story. If you're ready, I'll share. Now, the fifth thing is faulty ingredients. Faulty per se, because I really don't know how to describe the situation, but just stick around and you will understand what happened. So we baked a particular day, and I found that when I was covering the cakes, I had put the first layer. I had already put my cream, my buttercream, and I wanted to flip it because I would usually flip, and I saw that there was a dip underneath. Even before before that hole, before I observed the hole, I noticed that the cake was dense, and I was wondering what could have gone wrong, because this is a recipe that I know that I've been using for years. It is tested, it is trusted, it has zero issues. It was coconut cake. So I was wondering what went wrong. I started doing my search, but before then I'd known that there's this particular margarine I bought that was beginning to melt. I'm going to insert pictures so that you see as I'm talking. It was beginning to melt. I don't know if it was the weather. I think we thought, or we just assumed that it was the weather, because never has it happened that I bought that brand of margarine. It's what I always use, and it will start melting. So I think this period, the weather was unusually hot, and so that margarine began to melt. So you could see like traces of oil in it. Of course, it was the margarine. The margarine still smelled nice, tasted okay, but it was beginning to have oil in some parts, and it was light. It was lighter than usual. I tried to shoot a video with it, and I observed that the cake did not come out well. So I should have just figured, this thing is not good, let me change it. But we used it to bake, and it caused a fault. So this is it that you can see on my on the screen right now. This is what you can see on the screen right now. You can see the oily part, and so immediately, because I cannot use that kind of cake, definitely I do not want to risk it. I do not want to anything to I just want to deliver below standard. I do not want to affect my customers, affect the relationship, or do something that would tarnish or hurt my brand name. Of course, I cannot send the cake out like that, never. So we immediately swung into action. I had to I had to buy a new one immediately, the same brand, and we baked afresh. And when we baked afresh, this was the result we got. So the cake was better, the same recipe, everything the same, and the cake came out better. So that was the culprit. So it was really, it wasn't a funny experience that day, because it was a two-tier cake, and in fact so many layers were involved, and we had baked about 3 layers with this particular flavor. It was a coconut cake, like I said, and it was really frustrating for me. I was really tired that day. I was really tired. Imagine wanting to bake at a particular time, wanting to decorate at a particular time, and you've targeted by now I should be done, and then you see this and you have to start all over again. And imagine using a soft cake to do a tiered cake. So it was really frustrating. This was how I looked that day. I was tired. I was trying to do a video. I tried getting the thumbnail, but in all, I just had to pick myself, check what the problem could be. After I had relaxed, I had to check what the problem could be, figure if this is the problem, and then order for a new batch of margarine that I finally used to do the baking. So when things happens like this, it's natural for you to get flustered, frustrated, disappointed, sad, angry at everything, emotions running through you. But okay, don't let it stop there. Try to figure out what could have happened what could have gone wrong in the process. Now, if you've watched the video up to this point, thank you so much for watching. You are the real MVP. Please drop me some hearts, any color of hearts. You can drop them right here. You know how we do it. We are trying to engage and boost the engagement for the algorithm to pick this video up. So please help me. Drop me a heart. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Become a member of the family. Would love to have you. And if you're yet to like the video, please, this is a reminder, like my video, okay? And if you have comments, drop them as well, and share with those in your taking community. I will be very happy if you can do this for me. Thank you so much once again. Until I see you in the next video, stay happy, stay safe, and stay blessed.